Hi guys, so this is a little more detail about some of the rhythm stuff that you've been asking about. As you can see, I'm not at my usual studio. There's no piano here. I'm out with my family, and here's Milo. He'll be in the background. So if you hear his voice, that's my son. That's my 3-year-old son. Okay, so just a reminder, I made a little sheet here. That whole note gets 4 beats in a measure of 4/4. Half note gets 2 beats in the measure of 4/4. A quarter note gets 1 beat in the measure of 4/4, and an eighth note there, it only gets half a beat, okay? So this is something to remember. I'll show it a few times so that you can remember that. That means if we have a whole measure of eighth notes, like this, we would put 8 eighth notes fit in there. And so we would put 8 eighth notes and we would count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we do those ands and we write it with those plus signs like that so that we have something to say for every part of the beat. So let's clap that and say it right now. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Exactly. So you need to have something to say. Otherwise you would just say 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd be clapping or playing whatever rhythm and not have something to say for that. So that's why the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and comes into place, okay? So let's take something like, oh, you're being silly. Okay, so let's take something like this, okay? Look at these 2 measures here for a second. You can go ahead, you can eat those, Milo, that's okay. Yeah, you go ahead. Let's take these 2 measures for a second, okay? We've got half note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note. Half note is worth how much? Let me cover this up. It's worth 2 beats, right? So it's 2. Quarter notes are worth how much? They're worth 1 beat. Eighth notes are worth, or quarter notes worth 1 beat. So 2 plus 1 is 4. This is worth fair. You can only have 1 because I'm making a video. You're very lucky. Okay, this is a candy video now. Then we have quarter note, which is worth 1, and then eighth note is half, 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 half. So when we add that up, 1 plus 1 plus half plus half plus half plus half, that also equals 4, right? So whenever you're looking at a measure or having to fill in a measure, just count everything. Make sure it adds up to 4 if the measure is 4/4, or if the measure is 3/4, adds up to 3. You know, that kind of thing. Let's look at, how about, let's look at these 2 measures. You want to say hi? You can't quite reach, can you? Okay. These 4 measures here, we've got a bunch of different rhythms. Say hi. Okay? The first 2 are in 3/4, okay? 3/4, so let's make sure they add up to 3. There's a half note, that's 2 beats, and a quarter note, that's 1 beat. So underneath these, we would write 1, 2, and then 3, wherever the beats go, okay? So I'm going to do that, okay? 1, 2, 3. Watch. The half note has 2 beats, so I put 2 under there, and then the quarter note has 3. Here we've also got 3 beats, 1 beat for the quarter, half, half for the eighth note, so that's a whole other beat, and then 1 beat for the quarter. So I'm going to write 1. Now think about the eighth notes. Think about how we write eighth notes here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to write 1, 2, and 3. I could write 1 and under the quarter note. Like I could subdivide it if I wanted to. 2 and 3 and. But I'm just going to write 1, 2, and 3. Because that second beat with the 2 eighth notes, I want to make sure that they're divided like that, okay? I want to make sure you can fit 2 eighth notes in a whole beat, okay? Let's do the bottom now. This is in 4/4. We've got a quarter note, which is worth 1. 2 eighth notes, which is worth 1. It's a half and a half. And then a half note, which is worth 2 beats. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, let's do that. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Let's try this one, okay? These are eighth notes. They're each worth how much? Half a beat. So you put the 4 of those together, it's half plus half plus half plus half. And that's 1 and 2 and, okay? You see half, each of those words that I'm saying is worth half of a beat. Just the 1 on its own, when there's eighth notes, is worth half of a beat. Just the and on its own is worth half a beat. Just the 2 on its own is worth half a beat. And just the and on its own is worth half a beat. So when you add them all together, half plus half plus half plus half, it's worth 2 beats. Then 3, 4. You can always write 3 and 4 and. Here, I write 3, 4. You can write 3 and 4 and. Because this is worth, you know, you're just not adding that. But it's up to you. Okay, so look at this. Maybe pause on this and see it for a second. Okay, let's do one more thing while my son eats all the Sour Patch Kids that he found. Okay, I wanted to fill in, I know, that's hilarious. I wanted to fill in this measure, okay? So just a reminder, these are all eighth notes, right? Now, this is a 4/4 measure and it's not done yet, okay? What have we got here? We've got a quarter note, which is worth 1 beat. And then we've got an eighth note, which is worth half a beat, right? So we only have 1.5 beats. So how many more beats do we need to fill in 4? Think about it. 1.5, 4, 2.5, right? Okay. So we need another half. We need another eighth note, I say. 2.5 beats we need. So let's do another eighth note next to this. I'm not going to beam them together because I've done them separate, but usually you beam them together, like that top part. And then now we've got 1.5 plus 2. We have 2 more beats. What can we do? Half note. Right. That's, you want to say hi? There he is. Okay. Now let's write the counting numbers, okay? So 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay? Because remember, these are half beats. 1, 2, and 3. That would be how we fill in a measure. Okay? I hope that here clears some things up. Please, everybody, keep asking questions because then it helps me do more of these videos, okay? I'm happy to do a million more videos if you don't mind my son eating candy in the background. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon, but I'm going to upload this and see if this helps anyone. Okay?